I love competition. Budget server rack batteries just keep getting better and better. You guys are going to enjoy seeing what this one has to offer. This is from Datou Boss, and it's another budget-oriented server rack battery with some really impressive capabilities and performance. Wait until you see the capacity test on this. Let's get this battery unboxed. Here on the top we have a set of documentation, and there is a baggie of terminal covers, a short little parallel communication cable, grounding cable, 2 parallel cables, a little baggie of screws. Here is the battery itself. So it's shipped fully assembled, including these little ears, which I guess is nice from the standpoint you don't need to assemble anything. You potentially run the risk of some shipping damage, but as you can see, mine arrived in beautiful shape. These handles are by far the tiniest handles I've ever had on a server rack battery. They do the job. You can lift the battery with them. They do fold. I know something I'm not going to be a huge fan of off the bat here, and that is these small terminals. I'm sure they can do the job fine. I just like to oversize my conductors. You can kind of see that over here on the Tower of Power. And I keep running into these small terminals on server rack batteries these days. And so sometimes the lug on my cable doesn't fit on this. We'll test that momentarily. Note that these screws are not countersunk, so you need to be sure and not have your cable terminal upside down. We have a 125 amp breaker here. Go ahead and turn that on. And let's go ahead and boot the battery up. Looks like it has kind of a boot up sequence. We've got some dip switches, some dry contact, state of charge indicator, and our communication ports. We do have a spec sheet here on the side, and it is a 100 amp BMS. This Datou Boss battery weighs in at 94 pounds, 2.25 ounces, and it's your pretty typical battery size, 17 and an eighth wide on the case itself. Up here, including the ears, it's 19 inches wide, 5 1/4 inches tall, and 20 1/2 inches deep, not counting the handles. With the handles, you're about 21 3/4 deep, with them folded out. Okay, battery capacity test on this Datou Boss server rack battery. Got this charger hooked up to it, and it just finished charging. You can see right here we've got full charge protection enabled in the app, so this is as full as the battery will accept. We are going to be metering the power through the Victron Smart Shunt, and you can see right here we're pulling very close to a 0.2C rate of discharge. Alright, check this out you guys. 99.9 amp hours. Just about to pull full capacity. The voltage is still doing pretty darn good, 47. And there we go, 100 amp hours, full capacity. Good job, Datou Boss. I'm going to let this keep running for just a minute, and we'll just see how far beyond 100 amp hours we'll get. And by the way, ignore this. I forgot to change my shunt from a 314 amp hour battery to a 100 amp hour battery, so ignore the state of charge. We're just looking at the amp hours here. The battery just shut off. You can see the voltage is dropping. 102.4 amp hours is the total capacity we pulled out of the Datou Boss unit. Very impressive. Good job, Datou Boss. And just for fun, I'm going to set the charging current to 100 amps. And if we check this out, we've got over 5,000 watts coming from the grid power feeding into the battery. You might be able to see that it does say the max charge current is 100 amps. Recommended charge current's 50 or less. Heavy load testing on the Datou Boss server rack battery. Got it connected up here to the 12,000 XP. We've got battery chargers. Load this all the way up to 100 amps. You can see currently we're at 55 amps, so let's fire up some more. There's 91 amps. Let's add a little more. I've got it up to 105 amps now. The battery is registering an alarm state. So it does realize that it is overcurrent at the moment. Let me see if I can dial this in a little better. Okay, check that out. 99 amps on the dot. We do still have an alarm state. It's kind of fluctuating off and on a little bit. So it just kind of depends on how close we get to 100 amps. If we come back up here, you can see we're 97, 99, 98. So right there at the cusp. And you can see now the alarm light has completely turned off. I'm going to let this run for a few minutes. A few minutes has passed, the alarm has stayed off, and it's been able to run the load right at this 99, 97 amp load just fine. Let's test internal closed loop communications. I'm plugged into the CAN port. This green wire comes up here into the conduit box, and I've just tapped into the CAN cable that is normally plugged into my wall mount battery here. We're going to change this from lead acid to lithium battery on the 12,000 XP, and then we're going to change it to Lux Power Protocol. Go ahead and hit set. And in the Datou Boss app, we're going to come here and change the protocol to Lux Power. And we have success. Look at that. 92% state of charge showing up on the 12,000 XP. That matches what the app says from the battery here. And if you take a look in the EG4 monitoring app, we've got a 91% state of charge now. And if we scroll down here, it knows that there's one battery connected to it. It's 100 amp hours in capacity. Charge limit is set to 50 automatically, and discharge current is set to 100. So internal communications works flawlessly. Let's take a look inside this battery. A little anticlimactic with this cover on, but that's all right, we can take it off. There is nothing on the bottom side of the cover, and here it is. It's kind of crazy how good these budget batteries are getting. So let's start here with the cells. Obviously, welded bus bars. They do have a little hump in them for expansion and contraction. None of the vents are obstructed at all, and we can't accuse these guys of bad cable management. And just look at these balance leads. So they come off the BMS, immediately go into this little armored sheeting, and already we're getting a gazillion different zip ties. Comes through here, still wrapped in this protective stuff, and then the lines that only need to exit. And then we've got, zip tie, zip tie, zip tie. Just anywhere that a zip tie could go, we've got a zip tie. And so the cable management is just very professionally done. The cables are just hugging this metal support piece. And that's across the board here. Everything is very well managed, zip tied. But that's not all. You can see over on this side, the balance leads are coming down here, and then they've zip tied them up here to come over here nice and cleanly to the BMS. They've got these negatives zip tied, or at least attached very well. The only thing I could potentially argue against is the negative wires here are touching this metal bracket. That's not going to be a problem if this is sitting in a server rack battery stack or rack, at your house, where it's not going to see hardly any vibration. If this were going in some kind of mobile application, this could be a serious problem because you could actually get a rub out on these cables against this metal. I think that could probably be fixed at the slight compromise of things maybe not looking quite as clean. But if they loosened this nut and just moved this so it was kind of coming off at a little bit of an angle this way, and then adjusted these so that they were kind of coming off at an angle this direction slightly more than they are already, they could get this cable away from this metal. I have started seeing this kind of sticky cloth stuff wrapping around exposed connectors, which I think is pretty nice. On these wires here, it did say 16 millimeter, which is very close to 5 gauge wire. And we have a larger positive lead. However, it does not have any markings, at least on the segments of wire I got in my battery. But it's probably 4 gauge, I'm guessing. I unwrapped this just so you can see the terminal. I have been checking everything. Everything is tight. I do not see, QC marks for torque on any of the connectors in this particular battery. But everything has been tight, not loose. You might be able to see they're kind of using a bus bar to feed the terminals. They did go pretty heavy with the glue stuff, though, inside the breaker terminals, which is very interesting. Notice that the Wi-Fi antenna is inside the metal enclosure. That certainly keeps everything clean on the outside. Could potentially impact your Wi-Fi range. So if Wi-Fi is important to you, bear that in mind. It does look like, though, it has a pretty decently long cable. So if you want to be hardcore, you could probably just pop that screw out that's holding that little board in place. Go ahead and drill a hole in the side of your cabinet here, and you could stick that out of the metal enclosure. Once again, all the communication lines are nicely managed, zip-tied together. And here's the BMS. Most of those words are in a different language, but some of you might decipher it and look into it further. Nice big heatsink. I can tell it might not be coming across the camera, but it has that coating on it that protects it from moisture. Anyway, nothing is, just jumping out at me as far as something that sets this BMS apart from all the others we've looked at, but I know a lot of you enjoy looking at these up close like this. And certainly sound off in the comments if you notice, any issues or problems. So for a budget server rack battery like this, I think they've done an outstanding job on the build quality, especially on the cable management front. Very impressive. I would like to see this changed so that we don't have conductors rubbing up against metal without some kind of, sleeving on this, or just moving it out so it's in the open air. And I would much prefer different terminals here with the countersunk screws and a much larger size terminal. In Datou Boss, I'll even save you the time looking, but this is what we're after. Countersunk screws, larger size terminal. You got plenty of room out here on the front of the case, and you've got plenty of room on the inside of the case to make those just slightly larger. But certainly, price can say a lot. You can see here, before any coupon codes or anything, $746.99. That in and of itself is a crazy good price for a server rack battery that has, app monitoring and everything built in. So comment and tell everyone what your observations are now that you've seen inside, plus the other tests I did in this video, and share if you think for the package as is and the bang for the buck it gives you, would it be a viable consideration for you? One final observation I want to draw your attention to, and it's a little tricky to see, but on this side right here, as well as over here on this side, you can see it better across the back, right along here. There's about a 3/8 inch air gap, reinforced with the metal casing material between the outside of the case and the cells. So you do have a little bit of a crumple zone all the way around the three sides of the cells. Obviously, you have a giant zone out here in the front, but that will at least buy you some space in case there's some kind of major impact on the case before you are impacting the cells themselves. The manual is printed in color, and it does give us app control. I do want to compliment Datou Boss on the app here, at least the sign-up process. You have the option of creating an account if you so desire, but there's a button there that you can say guest mode, and it bypasses you needing to create an account. You can just log in and start monitoring your battery. I just clicked the scan button, and then there's a little QR code over here that I scanned, and it immediately connected. So here in the middle, obviously, state of charge indicator, then the pack voltage, the current going in or out, how many batteries are in parallel, a cycle counter, any information on protection state. Then we have our individual cell information, so the max cell voltage, minimum voltage, and these numbers over here correspond to which cell is in the max voltage state and which one's in the minimum voltage state. We have our temperature information down here, and then a little snapshot that's kind of getting cut off here at the bottom for what protocols are currently programmed. So that was in the summary tab that just default opened when I logged in. Pack data here seems to maybe drill in a little deeper on parameters. So you can see here, same state of charge, slightly different stuff here, but basic information. And then this is a little different. This kind of tells you the state of the MOSFETs, individual cell voltage information, and temperature stuff down here. We have tabs up here, volt and temperature. So there's all of our cell voltages. There's all the temperature sensors right down there. This, I guess, shows you if the pack is balancing at all. So that was pack data right down here. Let's go over here to parameters. Pack parameter, this just gives you some codes. And then inverter protocol. So here's where we can change the protocol. We've got quite the list. I'm just going to kind of scroll through here, and feel free to pause or do whatever you want to do to take a look and see what all the options are. For me, on the Canon protocol, I'm going to go ahead and go Lux Power, and that's because shortly here we'll be testing with communications on my EG4 12000 XP. RS485 protocol. Once again, I will just kind of scroll through these, and feel free to pause if you want to take a look at any of them closer. Then we have device info down here. It does look like you have an option to connect the battery to Wi-Fi. I personally don't like doing that, but that could probably be helpful if this was in an off-grid cabin or something somewhere and you wanted to maintain some form of communication and connection with it to see what kind of state of charge it's in, or if it's getting too cold or something like that. So it could be handy. And then tapping this button up here at the top, some stuff you probably won't use except for potentially a firmware update, but I believe that requires a signed in account as well as potentially a Wi-Fi connection to this battery. My philosophy is, unless there's some major issue you're running into, probably just leave the firmware alone. If it works, it works. Let it be. Comment, please, and tell me why you would buy this battery or why you wouldn't buy this battery. I think it certainly deserves some serious consideration, especially because at the time of making this video, prior to any coupon codes or anything, this is selling for just barely over $700. Combine that with free shipping, their customer support, as well as a 5-year warranty, and the functionality that it brought, I think that's very compelling. I will have links to this as well as any coupon codes I can get for you to save you even more money off the already impressive price. So be sure and check that out further. I will also have links down there where you can submit a question to me, as well as book a one-on-one video consultation, as well as use my custom YouTube video search engine. So be sure and take advantage of all of those. like, comment, share, subscribe, and hype, the 5 free things that I need your help doing in order to get these videos in front of more eyeballs. For some reason, the algorithm just does not push educational type videos like this in the algorithm without being nudged by you guys. So I really appreciate your help with that. We've always got more epic stuff in the pipeline with, full DIY systems to portable power stations, you name it, it's coming. So stay tuned, stay safe, and we'll catch you all next time.